My wife had a mental breakdown while pregnant and aborted our baby. She regrets the decision and wants another child. How should I navigate this? Throwaway account for obvious reasons, and I'm sorry about the long post, but I really need to vent. Me, 34M, and my wife, 35F, have been together for 8 years. 3 years ago we had a son who is a wild teenager but the love of our lives. About a year ago we made a mutual decision that it was time to try for a second child. She finally got pregnant in October last year and we were both happy and excited. She took several pregnancy tests a day, we started looking at houses, talked about names for the baby and planned our future together. My wife started acting weird a few weeks into the first trimester. She was a completely different person, staying in bed all day looking at her phone, hardly eating, and was apathetic, ignoring our son when he wanted attention, which was very out of character. She said that she was unsure about the pregnancy. I told her it was probably just hormones. She was very anxious while pregnant with our first-born, so I didn't think too much about it. A few days later things escalated. I came home and everything was suddenly wrong. She told me that I worked too much and that I should quit my job. She hated our apartment and the city we live in and wanted to move back to her hometown so she could be closer to her mother. Nothing was good enough. Also, she was determined to have an abortion. She became furious when I didn't agree to her demands and we had a huge argument where we both broke down crying. I told her that we planned this pregnancy, that she didn't really want an abortion and that the hormones were just messing with her head, but that just made things even worse. We had nasty arguments over the next few days where we both said things we now regret. We hardly spoke for a few days. I had a mental crisis but managed to collect my thoughts while making sure our son didn't get affected by the situation. I sat down with my wife and told her that I would never agree or approve, but I would support her if she was sure about her decision to have an abortion. I also managed to convince her to go to therapy and talk to our GP. They were sadly both pushovers, my wife's own words, and basically just told my wife to do what was best for herself. Long story short, my wife didn't get better over the next few weeks. She was constantly on her phone, texting her friends and mother who all thought I was a manipulative monster for trying to stop the abortion. She said extremely hurtful things, like that she couldn't believe anything I said because I was just manipulating her and that she planned on moving back to her mother with our son and saw no reason not to. Meanwhile, I was trying to shield our son and did all the housework while simultaneously trying to manage my job. I didn't recognize my wife and it felt like I was living with a different person. The day of the abortion came and I drove her to the hospital and waited during the procedure. I could tell my wife was back to her old self as soon as I saw her after the operation. She was crying in recovery but didn't say much. She broke down when we got home and screamed, my baby," while crying hysterically and clenching her stomach. She cried all night and the next day she said that I was right all along, that she now understood how sick she was, that I was the only person who saw it for what it really was and that I was only trying to help. She felt as if another person controlled her body and mind and it was like waking up from a nightmare. Almost 4 months have passed after the abortion and my wife got fired from her job due to sick leave. She stays at home all day, lying in bed or on the couch listening to audiobooks. I do most of the housework and take care of our son while working full-time, which has been exhausting. My wife has been going to a psychiatrist who said that she was probably psychotic and her feelings now are the same as a woman who were forced to have an abortion. She has also been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. She says that she feels broken and the only thing that can make her whole again is becoming pregnant and having another child. I have a hard time trusting my wife and I'm very worried that the same thing can happen again. I feel like I can't blame her for the abortion because she was sick, but I'm so disappointed and sad about the situation. All of her friends have apologized to me but my mother-in-law has said nothing, causing my wife to break contact with her. I feel like my wife is not mentally ready for another pregnancy, that I don't trust her like before and that our support network from her family is virtually non-existent. My father also died a few weeks ago. He was sick for a very long time and his death was not a surprise, but it has still affected me tremendously. I feel overwhelmed with my father's death, my wife being depressed and unemployed, while I'm trying to manage my job, taking care of the housework and keeping our son fed, clean and happy. Today I told my wife that I was on the breaking point and didn't feel mentally ready to try for another child and wanted to wait. She freaked out and started crying, saying that she is extremely disappointed, that she lost all motivation in her life and that she feels like she lost her one chance of having a second child. I feel so empty and sad. Everything was good a few months ago, my wife was happy, we were expanding our family and my father was alive. Any ideas on how I should navigate this?